Happy Halloween. Oh my God, I can't believe it's Halloween. Excited. Meet Herb, my friendly spider. As you know, I live in the land down under and spiders are really normal for us. No, I'm just joking. I am deathly afraid of spiders, even though like when summer comes around, they're just everywhere. I still scream no matter how big. But oh my God. Okay, so it's Halloween night and I think I'm going dressed as a ghost because I just can't be bothered and I didn't really get time to go buy an outfit. So yeah, super exciting, but let's wrap up October. So October is probably one of my biggest reading months. I read heaps this month and I also did not buy one book for the whole month of October. Can you believe that? I am pretty proud of myself, to be honest with you, but I've read so many books that my book stash is just kind of going down at a really fast rate, so that's a bit scary. But let me show you what I read this month. So I really mixed it up this month and read a lot of different genres. I know kind of October, it should be like, you know, Halloween themed books, but I am not really into scary books. I am not lying right now. I get scared by everything. And so some of the books that I read here were a bit scary. Yeah, probably not like Stephen King scary. That's just like too much for me. So I'll start off with, look, I'm not even going to start off with the first book I read this month because it was too hard, but I'll start off with this one, which I already spoke about in one of my previous videos, but yeah, I read Suddenly Royal this month. It was really cute, Princess Diary kind of, you know, esque book. Basically Sam like wakes up and finds out she's actually a long lost duchess and from the country of Illyria. Please excuse the ankle grinder. Oh dear. So basically this is a trilogy, this book. Series is a trilogy. But so I haven't read the third book, but I read the first and the second book. So I really liked the first book. The second book, it was good because, you know, it kind of kept that theme going, but I just like the losing your virginity trope. I just think it's just annoying. Double entendre there because this whole environment's pretty annoying right now. But yeah, I just think that it's frustrating because they drag it out so much, and you know, this book was a perfect example of that. But I really liked it because it was like about the sister who her name is Catherine, and so Sam's friend David comes to Illyria to run the bird sanctuary, and Catherine, while they're on their honeymoon, Catherine kind of steps up as the next royal, and so she falls in love with David, and that's basically the storyline. It's not bad, yeah, they're cute, they're nice, they're cute, and yeah, the third book I didn't get around to reading, but I'll probably read that come November. I also read this month The War Widow, which I really loved. I just thought that this book was amazing. It follows Billy Walker, who is a private investigator. She's not a police officer. She's like a private eye, and it's in Sydney. Set in Sydney, 1946. Sydney, 1946. And so basically, a mother walks into Billy's office, and she's like, "My son is missing. I haven't seen him for 2 days. Can you find him?" And so Sydney 1946 is still, it's post World War II, but women still are not accepted like men, and women in the workforce are still very new. And so you had a little bit of that showing through in this book. And then you also had a lot of, Billy Walker she comes from a very well-to-do family. And so she doesn't really want to follow in that well-to-do footsteps. She wants to break out and create her own career and her own identity. So you have that, and it's just, it's a really great book. Tara Moss was able to touch on really, really, really important things that happened throughout this time in Australia. I mean, you still had the Aboriginal stolen generation, and she really intertwines that into the storyline. You had a lot of immigrants coming here from post World War II, and so you had that in the storyline, and it was a hotbed of just different issues and cultures, and it's just fantastic. I highly, highly recommend this book to anyone that is interested in learning about Australian history, or just wanting to kind of read something about a female protagonist that is really in her own roots. Like, there's no love interest in this book whatsoever. It's about female empowerment, and that is just something I really love about all of Tara Moss's books. They're always centered around female empowerment. So yeah, I really liked this one. I also read Liar. Excuse me. Yeah, it was a good book. I mean, it was a good book. I have to say, if I was to compare this book to Blunt Force, so both of these women are pretty powerhouses as far as crime fiction is concerned. But I felt this one was a lot better than Blunt Force. And the reasons is this book, it follows Amelia, who is a budding journalist, and she's morally grey. To be honest with you, I didn't really connect with Amelia too well because she's so morally grey. I mean, she finds a woman who is dumped behind a trash can, and so then she goes to the family because I'm trying to explain this in such a way. So she finds this woman, and then she feels really bad, so she's looking for answers. So she goes to the woman's family and consoles them. But while she's there, she kind of advances her own career. She's like, "Oh, I'm a reporter for this journal, and if you let me have your story, then I will make sure that your daughter is not painted in a negative light." And so her boss kind of takes that and runs with it. And then there's another woman that's found murdered, and so she walks to their house. She doesn't walk. She goes to the family's house, and she goes, "Oh, I found her murdered." But she didn't. It was because she wanted to continue to be seen as a rising star in her boss's eyes. So she there's a total of 3 women that are murdered, and for the last 2, she didn't know they were murdered. She found out, and she walked to the family's house and said that she found them murdered. So it was just morally grey because it wasn't. Initially, she went to the first victim's family as a way to kind of make herself feel better, but then after that, the other victim, she was kind of just using it as a way to make sure that her newspaper had the first scoop and the first story. So I found that a bit difficult to connect with because she was so morally grey. But yeah, it was not a bad book. It was interesting, but I don't know, I just had a lot of issues connecting with her, that one. I also read this book here, Blunt Force. So the difference between these 2 books were, this book felt like it could have been written in 200 words. The storyline was pretty short and sharp. but it just felt like it was dragged out. The plot line was dragged out, and it just became boring because more people were just added in to make suspects that weren't really needed. So I really didn't like this book a lot. And I also felt like at the end, she kind of skipped over the most important aspect of this book and made it a little bit less important. Yeah, so that was disappointing, this read. I had my first ever did not finish this month. Not first ever, but first for this year. I've pretty much finished every started this year, but unfortunately did not win it. Maybe, I mean, partly it could be my fault. I have not read Les Miserables, but this book is supposed to be a twist on that. So it's supposed to be a what if this didn't happen? It's a if this didn't happen storyline, this could have been the ending kind of thing. It was boring. It was downright boring. I read 110 pages of this and I just could not continue. I did not connect with any of the characters. I found the language hard to understand. It was just not for me. So yeah, I will not be picking this book back up. It's just did not finish. I also read Six of Crows. I don't know why I decided to splurge and buy myself the collector's edition of a book I haven't even read yet, but you know, strange things happen. But yeah, so basically I read Six of Crows. It was good. I was expecting better. It wasn't bad. I mean, I really did like the other series. What's it called now? Not Storm and Siege. Oh, I can't remember the other series name. But yeah, I really liked that. And so I was a bit excited for this one, but I think for me what was really confusing was every chapter was a different character, and I found that really confusing. Shadow and Bone, that's the other series. Yeah, so like, you know, you have one chapter that's Enid or Enid? I don't know. One chapter that's Kaz. You had another chapter that was Nina. So it's just difficult because how can you kind of get in the mind of one character and become that one character when you're becoming the group of five, you know, the dregs. So I couldn't really connect because my head was constantly like, whose head am I in now? And because every chapter was changing whose head I was in, it really made it difficult to kind of be like, oh, I really like him or I really like her, because you were only in their head for a chapter. And so out of the total book, you're probably in their head for like 10 chapters. So it's really hard to kind of get to know the characters when you're constantly flip-flopping. But yeah, so that was something I kind of really struggled with. I did enjoy the storyline, but basically, yeah, the storyline was just, I didn't even mention the other story. Oh my God. Well, the storyline for this one was basically just 5 outcasts committing the ultimate heist. And it's a great idea, like a fantastic idea, really great storyline. Just, yeah, probably not the best execution, I guess. But who am I to say I love that book? So it's probably just me. And so the other book I read this month was Blood and Honey. I was so excited for this book. You have no idea. I loved Serpent and Dove, and this book was such a letdown. It was such a letdown. It was the quintessential middle book in a series, and it was just such a letdown. I suppose probably because it was the quintessential book. It didn't really do much. Nothing happened. We're just kind of, nothing happened. Someone died. But we just kind of kicked a can further down the road towards the big battle. And so, yeah, that's basically the book. 590 something pages summed up in one sentence. So, yeah, it was kind of disappointing, but, you know, wasn't too bad. And so the other thing I picked up this month, that I picked up like literally at the end of the month, was Anna Kay. and I have to honestly tell you, the first page of this book, I was like hooked. Oh my God, so hooked. I just love the style, I love the writing. I am a huge Gossip Girl fan. I love Crazy Rich Asians, and this is just like a beautiful infusion of Gossip Girl in today's world, because don't forget Gossip Girl is stuck 10 years ago. So, you know, you don't have the things like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. So yeah, like it was just fantastic. So I read the first 3 pages and I was like, oh my God, I can't put this book down. And so I kept reading and I was like, I'm so in love with this book. And I love the fact that it follows different characters within the group. It's just phenomenally written. Not only does it follow the different characters within the group, you don't have to think, I think because it's written in third person, it's really easy to follow along. You follow Dustin, you follow Steven, you follow Lolly, you follow Anna. It's fantastic. But yeah, like there's no subheadings to tell you whose mind you're in now. But I guess that's, like I said, because you're in third person, it just, you know, it reiterates the name, so you know who you're following. But I think the worst thing happened. I flipped to the end of the book and I found out what happens, and I am devastated. I'm only like 50 pages in and I'm already connected to characters, and I found out a character dies and I just cannot handle it. Like, I'm already so upset over it. I haven't read the book, so I haven't even like gotten to the meat and bones of this book, and I don't think I can handle reading that this character dies. So I've really put this book aside because I've just been like, I can't, my heart can't take it. It's definitely different to what I was expecting, especially reading the blurb. I was kind of shocked to read that this character dies, and the way that they die is quite horrific, to be honest with you. I think it has changed my opinion quite a bit about this book, because it's a fun, lighthearted novel, and then you've just kind of turned it from fun, lighthearted into something quite heavy and serious. But it's a great book. Anyone that loves, there is so much noise in the background today. But yeah, anyone who loves Gossip Girl would really like this book. It's just fantastic. So yeah, that was my haul this month. It's quite extensive, to be honest with you. I don't think I've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's definitely 8 up and down. I've counted it and it's definitely 8. Yeah, I haven't read 8 books since like June, so that's pretty impressive for me. Yeah, so pretty excited. I mean, I've really run down the books I have right now. Like, I'm kind of almost struggling to choose a book to read because I don't really have that many left. So I need to go. I went on a book buying ban and it's kind of really turned out bad. So yeah. But anyway, I definitely feel like I'm over my reading slump, which is fantastic, because that was like a 2-month-long slump. It's ridiculous. But super exciting, and there were some really great books that I read this month. Probably not fantastically great, but there were some good ones. But this month I kind of found I had a lot of average books in my pile, which is a bit strange, but I suppose that's the whole point of reading. Everyone connects with different things and everyone likes different characters. So yeah, that's my October haul. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I wonder, how many books did you read this month? Love to hear from you.